My friends and I decided to test our wives and took DNA tests together. We thought it would be a fun experiment, something light-hearted that would add a bit of excitement to our usual gatherings. It wasn't as though any of us suspected anything serious, but the thought of revealing our ancestry or perhaps confirming our children's genetic links seemed intriguing. We had always been a tight-knit group, sharing everything from childhood secrets to adult responsibilities. Little did we know that this one decision would unravel a web of secrets none of us were prepared for. Later, when we gathered again to share the results, the room fell silent as we opened the envelopes. Each of us held the paper with trembling fingers, exchanging nervous glances. We had spent weeks joking about the tests, never expecting anything serious to come from it. The atmosphere, which had been filled with laughter just moments ago, turned into an eerie stillness. We discovered something none of us had ever anticipated, and suddenly, what had started as a light-hearted joke felt like a bomb detonating right in our midst. Not long ago, I found myself caught in a situation that completely altered the lives of several families. It was something straight out of a soap opera, yet it was happening in real life. The revelations led to heartbreak, betrayal, and life-changing decisions. And to think that it had all started with a simple joke, an offhand comment made in passing during a casual evening among friends. I was right there in the middle of it all, playing my part, witnessing as friendships, marriages, and futures crumbled in the wake of our reckless curiosity. Let me explain how it all unfolded. I'm 35 years old, with a wonderful wife, Ira, and a little boy who's about to turn 5. My life was seemingly perfect, a stable job, a happy home, and a circle of friends I could count on. We had been together since childhood, an unbreakable bond formed over decades. Every month, we made it a point to gather at one of our cottages, an unwritten pact we had sworn to uphold. No matter how busy life got, we dropped everything to meet up, unless something truly urgent prevented us. On the day that would change everything, we gathered again for a barbecue. It was one of our typical meetups, filled with laughter, drinks, and the comforting presence of our loved ones. The kids played together, their laughter echoing in the warm afternoon air, while our wives enjoyed the pool. The rest of us prepared the food, exchanging stories and jokes, completely unaware that our lives were about to take a dramatic turn. It was during one such casual conversation that Henry, one of our oldest friends, made a comment that unknowingly set off the chain of events. Henry mentioned how his son was growing up with a personality so different from his own that he barely recognized him anymore. The boy didn't resemble him much either. Jackson, always quick with a joke, laughed and said, "Maybe he's not your kid then. You see those things on TV all the time." It was an offhand remark, meant purely as a jest, but something about it lingered in the air. The idea took root, and before long, someone suggested that we should all take DNA tests, just to put our minds at ease. At first, it was all in good fun. None of us truly suspected our wives, but as the drinks flowed, the laughter began to fade, replaced by a quiet curiosity. Could we be absolutely certain? After all, only the women truly knew. And even then, people had secrets. The more we thought about it, the more we convinced ourselves that it wasn't such a ridiculous idea. One by one, we agreed, sealing our fate with nothing more than a half-drunken promise. We decided to reveal our test results at the next gathering, unaware of the storm that lay ahead. I took my son to the clinic, still considering the whole thing as a joke. There was no doubt in my mind that he was mine. He looked exactly like me, a miniature version of my family. The results, when they came back, confirmed what I already knew. I felt relieved but also guilty for even entertaining the notion that Ira could have been unfaithful. I reassured myself that it was all in good fun, nothing to be taken seriously. But as I would soon find out, not everyone was as lucky. The next meetup was highly anticipated, and the excitement was palpable. This time, we decided to leave our wives at home, an unspoken understanding that the results were something we needed to handle as a group first. The evening started off as usual, barbecue, drinks, and laughter, but as the moment of truth arrived, the atmosphere became heavy. One by one, we revealed our results, most confirming what we had expected. Then came Camillo's turn, and with one look at his face, we knew something was wrong. Camillo laid it all out. His DNA test had revealed something shocking. Evelyn, the daughter he had raised for 7 years, wasn't his. We were all stunned into silence, the weight of the revelation hitting us like a physical blow.
Camillo explained that his wife had initially denied everything but eventually broke down and admitted the truth. The child wasn't his, but his younger brother's. They had an affair before the wedding, and when she got pregnant, they both decided to bury the truth and move forward as if nothing had happened. Henry, whose joke had started this entire ordeal, turned out to be the only one with unfounded doubts. His son was indeed his. But for Camillo, his entire world had collapsed in an instant. His wife begged for forgiveness, insisted it had been a mistake from years ago, but the damage was done. Worse still, his brother remained silent, unable to muster even a single word in his defense. The betrayal ran deep, not just from his wife but from his own flesh and blood. Camillo was in shock. At first, he pretended everything was fine, showing up to our gatherings, making weak jokes, but we could see it in his eyes, the pain, the devastation. He was paralyzed, unable to make a decision, unwilling to accept that the life he had built was based on a lie. That's when we, his friends, decided to step in. If Camillo couldn't bring himself to take action, we would do it for him. We couldn't let him live like this, a prisoner in his own home, forced to share a roof with those who had betrayed him. We came up with a plan. The following week, during another gathering, we distracted Camillo with drinks and conversation while the rest of the group went to his house. His wife and brother were caught completely off guard when they saw all their belongings being thrown onto the lawn. They screamed, pleaded, but we didn't budge. Jackson looked his wife straight in the eyes and said, "This house was never yours. You lost that right when you betrayed him." Camillo arrived home just as it was all unfolding. At first, he was furious, saying we had no right to interfere. But as he took in the scene, his wife crying, his brother looking guilty, and his friend standing firm, something in him shifted. He took a deep breath, walked into his house, and shut the door. It was over. He was free. But the hardest part was yet to come. Even after everything, Camillo missed Evelyn. He had raised her, loved her, and the thought of losing her broke him more than anything else. That's when we decided to help him one last time. We hired a lawyer, fought for shared custody, and after a long battle, we won. Evelyn would always have a father, and Camillo would never have to lose the little girl he had loved from the moment she was born. Years passed, and life moved on. Camillo healed, built a new life, found love again. But the bond we shared as friends remained stronger than ever. And whenever we got together, we always laughed about how it all started, with a joke. A joke that changed everything. And as much as we teased Henry for his reckless ideas, deep down, we all knew that sometimes, just sometimes, his ideas were worth listening to.